my name's Anna Eaglin, and the social worker that I got to interview earlier this week was Brian McKinney. He is actually a teacher here on campus, so I met up with him earlier this week and we discussed different parts of social working, and I got to interview him, and it was actually really fun. The first question that I asked him was why he chose social working, and it was actually an interesting story. He started off as a nursing major, and while he was waiting for a spot in clinicals in Shreveport, he was a student here at Northwestern, and while he was waiting, he took some classes just to fill up time, and he took some social work classes and ended up falling in love with it and changing his major from nursing to social working. And he has a degree in social work, a bachelor's in social work, and a master's, and he also has an art degree, which I thought was really interesting too. And I asked him pretty much why he made that switch from nursing to social work, and he said just his desire to help others. He has a big desire to help people, which of course nurses do help others. That's their job too. But he also has a big heart for marginalized people, specifically children and the elderly, and he likes standing up for them and working with them. And I thought that was really cool, a really cool reason to switch to social working. I feel like a lot of social workers have a heart of helping others and are really compassionate. And yeah, that's kind of what drew him in and made him like switch over. And I also asked him what kind of jobs he's had throughout his career. He's had a lot, which I thought was really cool because he's a teacher now, and he teaches a lot of students who want to one day become a social worker. And since he's had so many jobs in different areas of social work, he has a lot of stories and a lot of experiences. And since social working is what I've learned throughout the class, a broad career, you can work with so many different kind of people and in different places. Students want to do different things, and they can relate to Mr. McKinney from his stories and stuff. That can kind of like inspire students to do what he's done. And when I asked him like what careers he's had, he has worked in prisons and probation and parole. He's worked with hospice and with mental health patients as well. When I asked him what his favorite and least favorite jobs were, his least favorite, he said, had to be working in prisons and probation and parole. He just really didn't enjoy the environment that much. He felt like locked up, he said, which I thought was really interesting because I'm graduating in criminal justice this spring, and I want to go in corrections, so I thought it was kind of funny that his least favorite job is something that I really inspired to do once I graduate. And then I asked him what his favorite jobs has been, and he said definitely teaching and working with mental health patients. Has been his favorites. Then I asked him if he believes if there are good and bad social workers, and he said definitely. Just like any other career, there are good and bad cops, good and bad teachers. There are good and bad social workers. And then he said that sometimes the ones that appear to be good are actually the bad ones. And I thought that was really funny. And then I asked him, it wasn't a question on the instructions, but this is a question I just wanted to ask because since I've started taking this class, I think one of the first chapters it's discussed in the textbook like myths and stereotypes about social workers that aren't true. So I asked him like what kind of assumptions he's heard throughout his life, throughout his career in social work, and like stereotypes that he always hears. And he says that one that he always hears is like, oh, you're a social worker, you steal people's children, you take people's children away, that's your job. And he says definitely not true. And also another assumption that he's always heard is that all social workers are like bleeding heart liberals and wants to take guns away and stuff like that. And he said that's definitely not true as well, and not something he personally believes in completely, both of those statements. So I thought it was interesting to hear his opinion on that. And yeah, that's about it. That's about all I really asked him. He was really interesting to talk to him because like throughout the past few weeks of taking this class, I've heard and learned a lot about social working that I didn't know. So actually like talking to someone who's like done what I've been learning about and seeing what I've heard read, talked about in real life was really cool and quite inspiring. And I really enjoyed talking to him. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.